Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in this video we will be talking about logging in Salesforce. Logging is a very important and integral part of any system. A good logging framework or a good logging standard will help you improve your system. It will help you identify the problem. It will also help you to catch the problems even before the occurrence of those problems. Whereas a bad system where logging is not implemented properly will make you frustrated. That system will be prone to a lot of errors and a lot of frustrations among the engineers. Sometimes you'll not be able to identify. Sometimes you will be spending a lot of time in identifying those logs. So in this short video, we will be talking about some good things, some bad things, some problems which we face regarding logging, and how to follow a better standards towards logging in our system. Okay, so first we will discuss about the common logging problems which we face in our in many of the implementation. The most common logging problem I have seen is that there are too many logs or there are too little logs. When I say too many logs, there is we have logs on every level, we have logs everywhere without having the meaningful information about log. Sometimes I have seen developers putting the whole API response as a log. Now going through a very long API response as a log is not going to give us the meaningful information. So log should not be that long. We should not have the API response in the log. Also, sometimes we do not have enough logs, like most of the important events related logs are not available. So we have not done the logging properly and there are too little logs. So too little logs or too many logs is the major problem I see in many of the systems, and because of that it is very hard to identify the problems, errors, or identify the areas where we can get errors. Okay, sometimes I have seen systems not using the proper log levels. Okay, everything cannot be an error. Okay, let's say if we have created a log and we are identifying an info, or we are identifying, let's say, um, a warning is not an error. So a warning we should use whenever we have a warning, like something is about to break, or where somewhere where we are about to reach certain limit, then we can use warning to alert the system. That is not error. So if we use the log levels properly, that also solves a lot of problems for us. So not having a proper log level is also one of the major problem I have seen. Okay, then sometimes you will see that not a meaningful message in the log levels, like they'll have something went wrong, or API error. Those kind of errors are not giving you any meaningful insight about the log. Okay, and without having a meaningful insight about the log, how will you debug that log? If you have written something went wrong, that you will get to know anyway, right? The purpose of this log is for you to have something by which you can check what went wrong, or at least you should have an idea about what went wrong. And having written as something went wrong will not give you any idea about that. Okay, sometimes I have seen logs where people just log anything, like username and password, or some security information, or some secure information which should not be there in the debug log. So there is a security risk as well. These are common of couple of common logging problems I have seen around the system. See, first understand what a good log message should answer. A good log message should answer that what happened first, what happened at the first, and then where did it happen. If you can identify where did it happen, on which apex class, on what message, on what line, and then third, why did it happen. Every time you will not be able to identify why did it happen. If there is any option available to identify why did it happen, then a good log message should also be able to identify why did it happen. Okay, sometimes you'll not be able to find, sometimes you will be able to identify, like let's say there is an API call out and it happened because of the time limit exceeded. So you know why did it happen, because of the time limit exceeded. So what happened, where happened, and why did it happen. These three are the meaningful message a good log should convey. Okay, so the first step is to identify a proper log level for your log. Okay, first one, there are multiple log levels. The first one is info. If info, remember, when you should use info should only be used when there is a significant system event has happened and that is expected. So let's say some user logs in and you want to record that, or let's say some user logs in but there is some problem he's facing because of the wrong username or password. Okay, so this is not error, this is just an information that you have to show info that something went wrong, username or password is incorrect, that is an info. So something significant happened but this is not an error. Okay, then second one is warning. As I told you earlier, something unusual happened, but again this is also not an error. For example, if your API is taking a lot of time to respond, then that could be a warning that API limit is about to reach, so it could be a warning. Then third one is error, where something failed in the system. Okay, that needs your immediate attention, that needs your attention, so we will log it as an error, like database timeout, failed API call, CPU timeout. So something where you need to check that thing because that needs your attention. And then the fourth one is fatal. Fatal is something where your production halts. Fatal is something which your whole system is not able to respond, like let's say Salesforce server is not responding, so that is fatal. No user across the globe will be able to use your Salesforce because it is very fatal. So in that case, let's say your service crashes, let's say your data got corrupted, that is very fatal and you'll have to have immediate look into that. So that is fatal. So choosing the right log level is very important. Okay, then after that, let's talk about couple of best practices for the logs. Okay, first, you will have to be very specific with the message. The message you are going to put in your log is going to be very important. Because of that message only, you will be able to identify the problem. Do not think about your log right now. Think about it. Let's say if you are debugging something related to that problem in three months from now, how will you able to debug it? Okay, if you are putting a meaningful message, even after 3 months you will be able to debug it properly because you have put the right logs in the right format. Okay, so be very specific about the message you are going to put in the log level. Don't be generic about something went wrong, API error, database error. Be more meaningful towards the message you want to put on it. Okay, include the relevant data in it. Do not do it like whole response message you have put in the response in the log. Don't do that. E dot message, no. Try to be very meaningful. Try to be meaningful with the data you are going to put. Okay, select the correct log level. I have already told you. Follow the standard format for the different types of error. Define a proper standard log messages and then use them. Your whole system should have a proper framework or proper structure towards the kind of error you want to show. It should not be random that developer A is doing on his own, developer B is doing on his own. There should be a proper formatting and there should be a standard format your whole organization should be using when it comes to error, because otherwise your system will become chaotic system. Okay, do not log any sensitive data because of course those are not intended to be in the debug logs. Okay, think about the future debugging. That's what I told you in the first line. Do not think about it right now, but think when you debug it in future whether that particular debug log is going to help you in the debugging or not. If answer is no, then restructure your debug log and regularly audit and clean the logs, because that is very important from the data from the storage point of view as well. So regularly auditing is very important because there is no point of having debug without somebody at least going through them and understanding what is wrong in the system, why it is happening. By the debug logs you should be able to identify the major problems your system is having, and then you can have a cleanup of those error as well as the problem you are facing. You can have a sprint to have these debug logs removed, or you can have the system to improve your system with the help of these debug logs. So intention from this short video was to make you aware that debug logs are very important. They are underappreciated or underutilized tools in Salesforce, and I have seen so many systems not using them properly. I want my followers, developers, my subscriber to use it properly, and that is why I'm creating this. I hope you'll find this helpful. Thank you everyone. I'll meet you in the next video.